Hey guys, how's it going? It's Matt. I hope you guys are having a good day today and an even better day tomorrow. First, let's start off with a review of my plan going into this past week. Alright guys, so during week 12 of this challenge, I did make absolutely 0 transactions, but since there was an issue uploading last week's episode, I'll quickly note the transactions that were made that week. So on July 29th, as we can see here in my history tab, I did make some transactions, so I'll go through them one by one. So first, here I sold my entire position of MP materials to lock in the gains and use the capital to take advantage of some other opportunities that I saw in the portfolio. So I sold all 8 shares at an average price of $38.15. And this puts my return on investment for MP at 49.61% after fees through 12 weeks, which when you think about it is pretty great if you ask me. I also sold out of my Barrick's gold holding that I had transferred into the account from another brokerage. So I did sell all 23 shares at an average price of $27.27. So this transaction wasn't to lock in gains of any sort. It was more to get rid of the holding and use the capital elsewhere. So that's why you'd see that my return on investment was actually minus 16.99%. So with this capital available, I did add 2 shares of Coinbase at an average of $243.40, bringing my entire portfolio position to 10 shares at an average of $262.02 for a total cost of $2,620.22. The final transaction I made was adding to my 10-cent position with 7 shares at an average price of $61.78, bringing my stake in Tencent to 12 shares now at an average of $67.82 for a total cost of $632.30. And with that out of the way, guys, let's look at a summary of what actually happened to my portfolio over the 12th week of this challenge. So the best performing holding I had this week was in Coinbase, ticker COIN, finished this week up 9.16%, which is fantastic. It is almost in the positive. You can see it here on the chart. Portfolio performance for whole time, it's down 1.44%. So this week could finally be the week that my biggest holding, as you can see here, it's 28% of my portfolio, could finally start to turn the corner and bring us into the green, which would really start to make a huge impact on our performance. Again, it's the S&P and overall capital gains. So really looking forward to that. Hopefully that continues. On another note, my worst performing holding this week was in Skills, ticker SKLZ, which was down about 15.34%. So definitely a pretty steep decline. It is now the worst in my portfolio that we'll go into a bit later. But it is a recent holding, so it's not really too much of a big deal. It's something that could definitely be taken advantage of in the future. And in terms of overall performance, guys, this portfolio was up a bit this week, about $250 or roughly 2.27%, it looks like. Sorry, 2.71%. When comparing that to the S&P was up about 0.94%. So now we're beginning to see again what we were seeing in the earlier weeks of this challenge. The portfolio is climbing back to being competitive with the S&P as it performed this week, nearly 3 times better, which is a pretty incredible feat. And hopefully that does continue to bring us back on par with the S&P or better. And now, of course, in terms of overall performance, the best performer is now Peloton, ticker PTON. Now that I have cut out my biggest winners so far in this challenge, which were NEO and MP Materials, Peloton is certainly at more of a modest return, currently at 23.32% increase. And with ongoing public health concerns and variants galore, staying at home seems like it will be in most people's futures. And with that, Peloton can absolutely thrive and continue to outperform. In terms of my worst performer, it's certainly different this week because it's now with a new holding in that of Skills, as I mentioned previously. I don't see this as too much of a big deal because, again, it's only been 2 weeks since I added it, and it's a pretty small position in the portfolio. Skills is definitely one of the play stocks in the portfolio that could very well be a flop, but I am still certainly confident in its future in this portfolio, given my purchase price and the potential that it has in the future. And right now, it's the biggest loser in the positions and down about 22%, as I showed briefly. It's the latest additions to my red companies alongside Coinbase, which is barely in the red, turning around, so hopefully that's not there next week. Tencent, which has hit a pretty big drop recently with China concerns, and Corsair Gaming, which I haven't really brought up too much attention to in videos because it's a pretty similar situation as Skills, where it's a recent ad. It was a good price. I'm not really worried about it too much in the short term. I think it really does have a place in this portfolio in the long term. All in all, including the fees, the account is down 0.4%, and before fees, it's up 2.27%. So when comparing the portfolio performance to the S&P over the same time period, it is up about 5.58% when the appropriate cost basis analysis is used. My portfolio is obviously performing 50% worse in that sense over the past 12 weeks. So again, this is still only in recent weeks that my portfolio has been losing to the S&P, and considering the S&P is at record highs, it's no wonder it's hard to beat. And honestly, I'm not too worried about it. I really think that there is going to be some turbulence in the S&P eventually, probably some point in the remainder of this year. And I think these companies are in pretty decent positions to outperform in that type of turbulence. But again, obviously, when looking at the fees, my account is performing even worse. But as I have said in previous updates, the fees will become more and more meaningless over time as the account grows, and they don't indicate the performance of the portfolio considering there are no fees in the S&P index. So including the fees in the comparison is obviously not a true one-to-one comparison. All right, and plans for next week, as you can see here, going into week 13 of this challenge, I don't have any cash, but if transactions are made, it will be because of capital from selling a position. I don't expect to sell any, but I am constantly reevaluating positions and overall capital allocation, and will make changes if I think they are necessary. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll be uploading updates every week to summarize the past week and point out some ideas for the upcoming week of this challenge to 500,000. Thanks again for watching, guys. Peace.